Okay, so Grammostola Pulchra today. So let's see if we can rehouse it and put some substrate in. Now the spider, obviously I'm not going to rehouse it that way, but you might as well, because they just chuck the dirt all over the place and you don't have a nice enclosure with a Grammostola Pulchra. Obviously I'm not going to chuck the spider in there, but I want to try and make it look nice, so let's do the video for real. Hello and welcome back to my channel. So let's try and do this properly this time, and it is a Grammostola Pulchra the Brazilian black is what we're rehousing today, and I've got two of them to go into these two. I've had these two individuals here for 3 years. And I think if you're in the hobby and you know about these, they take an age to grow. And I got both of these from a sling. But I think they're 2 inches easily now. So they're ready to move over. I've been waiting and waiting for them to molt in here so then I could transfer them over. But it's just taking months and months. But they've gone off their food for the last 4 weeks. I think they've gone off their food. So I know they're going to be molting soon. So I want to get them over now because I just don't want to wait anymore. I just want to get them over and put them in. But with the Grammostola Pulchras, it's like, do I design the enclosure? Do I make it look a certain way? They just destroyed their enclosures. And they've done it since tiny slings, but I want to make it look presentable, put it in here, and I'm going to have it on my shelf at like head height so I can see them every time I come in. These have been out of the way, kept at the back just so they can grow on, and I just keep feeding them. They're very docile. One can be a little bit temperamental, but the other one seems quite docile. No idea if they're male or female, but I think if you're a spider keeper, you've got to have a Grammostola Pulchra, a Brazilian black. You've just got to. I think with these, they take ages to grow, so you can power feed some tarantulas. If you've got a male, you want to catch up to your female, so you can power feed it, which some people say is not, good to do, as long as you don't get the abdomen too big, because then they can have problems during molts. But you can push them closer to getting the male to mature. But in these, I think the male's still 5 to 8 years to mature, and the females 8 to 12 years until you can breed them. So that is a very long time, because I've bred some of my other ones. I've got Megaleganthus species South Mindanao, I think that's how you say it. And that was 1.5 years, nearly 2 years, just under, and I bred her fine, and she's dropped 2 sacks. So some others can, but these you can't, you've got to wait. But I get a lot more out of them from growing them on from slings to adults. So let's just show you both of these in the enclosure, and then we'll get them rehoused properly. Okay, there's the first one. I know you can't get a scope of size, but this one is super inquisitive. And anybody that has a Grammostola Pulchra knows that they do explore the enclosure. So if they can get up to the roof, make sure you don't have any mesh or anything on the roof, because they will get stuck with their feet in it. So just something plastic. That's why I'm moving them into an all glass enclosure. But that is a stunning spider, and the older they get, the blacker they get. But if you just look at the substrate, it's all dried out. I water it every week. 55 to 60% or 65% humidity. I never keep mine at 65. I have tried that in the past, and I find they go away from it at the opposite end of the enclosure. So they like it on the dry side. So what I do is I just alternate each corner and change that probably once a week and just put some in. And then when it is really hot, I just mist over the enclosure. But as you can see, they dig up everywhere. And what I've seen them do is dig to one side, and then months later they move all of it, dig to the other side, and then they go back and forth. But they pretty much stay out all the time at the minute now. I'll show you my other one. And there's my other one. And you can see, very well fed, so I don't need to feed them up. And the same again on this one's enclosure. They've got a hide, they never use it. They sit out in the open. And I want to put a bit of moss, carpet moss in there as well in the new enclosure, but I'm expecting them to just do the same as this one and bury it up. But gives them something to do, the little bulldozers, but stunning spider to have. Right, so you've seen the two. This one on the right side, you can see I don't know if you can see through there because it's a bit dirty on the glass, but it's run over down there. It's just, this one is the skittish one, which is potentially with bite. And this one here, you can see I could pick it up, it just sits there on the glass, nice big fat abdomen, but this one it's not bothered at all. whenever. I can let it walk out, it just walks around and I'll just pop it back in, and it's a pleasure to have. And I have no idea if they're male or female because they both destroy the molts, but I'm hoping with this glass enclosure I can see them, get access to it a bit easier. So let's try and get these rehoused. Okay, so let's speed this up while I do these enclosures. So they're fully cleaned out on both of the enclosures, just adding the substrate, breaking down any larger lumps of the two different types of material that I put in there, just so it doesn't mold. I'm going to put a little bit of moisture in just because I'm moving them over. They may be slightly stressed. I just want them to be fully relaxed, have a little bit of humidity until the next time that I fill the water dish up, but they'll probably leave it all dried out. Chose a couple of good pieces of cork bark there. I wedge it underneath. You saw me put some more water into the substrate. Then I'm using my moss that I collect from where I live, and I leave the little beasties in it. I just pull out like grass and weeds if you see any through, because it can grow ridiculous in your enclosure. So I get those out. Just doing the second one again, exactly the same process, removing any stubborn or hard bits or stones. I like to remove them all out, and I try to level it up at the back so there's more in there. Then we're doing more carpet moss in again, and I've angled them both so both of them face into each other, because this is the position I'm going to have the enclosures up on the shelf. Then a bit more moisture that I spray on top of the moss. They'll probably crawl around that for the next few days. Bit of leaf litter, water dish in. Now let's slow this video back down. Okay, so that's me done with both those enclosures. So you can see I've not done it too deep. Done it shallow because I know they're going to stick out on the open. They'll probably go in though straight away for the next couple of days, then they'll come out and start turfing everything around. So let me just show you what I did inside. So nice and simple. So as you saw in the footage there, I just built up the substrate, put a couple of pieces of cork bark just to support this one, and then give it like a bank effect, because I've noticed they like that. So same as my stomies do as well, they like this covered up bank effect, like they're going down, and then they feel they don't need to dig out too much. I've put carpet moss all around the back just for effect, and I'm hoping that they'll dig out and put all the dirt here, and they won't just turf it up on the carpet moss, because normally I'll put the whole thing as carpet moss and they'll just dig everything out. So I'm leaving this space that I can maintain and keep it looking like that. Put a water dish in just for the interim bit of putting them in, but I know they'll just turf the dirt straight in there and leaf litter, and that is it. And then I did a similar thing on the other one, and I angled both of my hides into each other so I can keep an eye on them, but I think that looks rather good. So let's get these in. First one we're going to do is the skitty one. Nice and easy, and it's probably going to run down. No, and she stays out for the minute, which is pretty good, and is definitely 2 inches or more, and these can get an easy 6 inches, maybe slightly bigger if you're lucky. And I am not too sure. Let me just get the other one in and I'll see if I can have a look if there's any subtle differences. She'll probably just walk all the way around. Let her explore, and then I'll make sure I put some water in there in a minute. Let's just get on with the other one. This one's already on her way up. And immediately really more docile when I'm touching her. I think this one is the female and the other one's the male. You can see shorter legs on this one. Oh, and she's definitely in pre-molt. I'll show you that in a second if I can just get her to go in. She's reluctant to leave. Yeah, I'd actually put money on this one being the female compared to that one being the male, which is a bit more leggier. And it's fine for them to climb up here. They're really actually quite good, the Grammostolas, at climbing. Go, look, in you go. This is my favourite one. Super, super docile, and definitely ready for a molt with that big fat abdomen. Because it's a big body tarantula, it's always said to not do the enclosure with such a high ratio to where the substrate is, but you'll be amazed when you have these that Grammostolas are such good climbers. They are really, really good. The amount of times I find this one hanging upside down at the top of the enclosure, no matter what the depth, they are really, really good. Just turn that light off, look, and I'll just show you, trying to get her to come down, how well she's gripped to that glass. Or he, sorry. They are excellent climbers. There we go, this one's actually slightly bigger. I'd say this one is almost 3 inches. Yeah, definitely 3 inches. And they were both the same size when I first got them, so I'd easily think this one's going to be a male. Look at this beauty. Come on in, here you go. Look at that, completely docile. Right, let's get the lids on. So there we have it, both in. And I'll probably be quite confident female, male. So that's what, fingers crossed, I'm hoping for. So now that they're into, like, I'll probably say a few weeks away from molting, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on them, grab the molts and then be able to sex both of these. But there we go. So the Grammostola Pulchra, I hope you enjoyed that one of my personal faves. And I'll see you on the next video.